Hey there, coming to you with a video about the phases that groups and leaders go through. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So it's better to be aware of these phases and be able to map out the next steps that you may need to take in each phase. If you're watching this, you're participating in groups, which is so awesome. It's one of, in my opinion, the most Jesus-y sort of thing that you can do. So, well done already. Let's talk through some of these phases. They're not every phase that you may go through, but here's some that I think of that happen a lot. First of all, there's the exciting and scary we're starting out phase, or we're restarting phase. What do you do in this? This is a phase where I want you to think about two things primarily. Number one is culture. Where you're really going to focus on what is this group about, or what are we going to be about. The good news is you have help with this. We have in the resources the basics of a tiny church or a small group. You can focus on this. You can walk through it first with your co-leader, and then you can walk through it with your group. Essentially, the culture that you're building is, I know this is kind of hokey, but it's the 3 C's of a tiny church. I know, hokey, but it'll help you to remember. One is care, especially in the form of vulnerability-based trust or care. The next is Christ, which you're going to cultivate the life of Christ through spiritual practices like engaging the Bible, prayer, eating a meal together, which is a great way for groups to start out or to restart. It's not threatening. It drives down anxiety when you sit around a table and eat a meal. So care, Christ, and then community. That's where we talk about the service partnership, but also training together, working together about sharing your faith with other people and inviting other people, which is one of the ways that we grow the most. So when you're starting out, focus on culture, on the basics of a tiny church or a small group. And the other thing is focus on trust, especially in these early days. And in fact, in every phase, focus on trust. Talk with your co-leader. If you need to, talk with me. What are some intentional ways that you can build vulnerability-based trust in your group? An easy way is for you as the leader to practice what you want to see in your group. The next phase that you may find yourself in is the exhilarating, we're actually doing it phase. Maybe some of you've met a lot. The conversations are fruitful. You're having some good spiritual practices conversation. Sorry, it's kind of windy where I am. Maybe you've started to serve together, or you've taken some steps towards a service partnership. The culture's coming together. What do you do in this phase? This is a great time to kind of push your group, push yourself. When momentum is high, you can take a risky step that you can't really take when momentum is low. Maybe not. So, is there a step that you need to pray about with your co-leader about how can we challenge ourselves, take a risky step for our faith, to express our faith? The next phase, it may not be next, but a phase that every group goes through that's difficult is the we're stuck phase, which can be really discouraging. What do you do in this phase? First of all, first and foremost, name it. Normalize it. If you don't, it has a way of increasing the anxiety of it and making you feel more burdened, which rubs off on your group as well. First of all, like I just said, it's normal. There's no leader, no group that doesn't go through a phase in which they feel stuck. And there are so many things that make a group stuck, or maybe a combination. Group dynamics, inconsistent participation, fatigue, or maybe you've tried to do something, but it's just not coming together, like you're trying to develop a service partnership or get your group to serve. Any one of these things or a combination can make you feel stuck. Name it, talk about it with your co-leader, talk about it with me, normalize it, and then start to map out some steps and think culture rather than quick fix. If you do a quick fix, you may experience a bit of a boost, or you may come unstuck for a minute, and then you'll be stuck right over again. If you got to the stuck phase, it was probably a few things that got you there. And if you map out some prayerful strategy, it'll help you get out. All groups also go through this next phase, and it's kind of the dreaded one, the disillusioning, we want to quit phase, or I want to quit as a leader. As difficult and dreaded as this one is, everybody goes through it. So all the same, name it. Normalize it with yourself, with your leader, with me, and pray about it. It's so hard to believe in prayer, especially when you don't feel like you know what you're doing, when you can't see how it's working. But pray about it. Talk about it with your co-leader. Pray together. And then start to map out some strategy. And again, think culture rather than quick fix, especially if you've gotten here, because this means that you've been stuck for a while. It means that your energy is low or next to zero. And it's going to take some time, some thinking, some intentional steps to get out of here. Even then, you may get to this phase, which again, all groups need. It's the we need to take a break phase. It may be the one thing you need to do. It may be for a week. It may be for a month. It may be for a season. Breaks can be a great tool to help you as a leader or to help the group to reset. So talk about it with your leader. Talk about it with me. And use it wisely. When you're in your break season, go back to the basics of a small group. Think through culture. What has been missing in your group that maybe led to low energy or led to feeling stuck? What can you do in the break that can help you to avoid that when you come back? Go through that document intentionally. Talk through things with your group, with your co-leader, and reset. Even still, this one might happen. Your group may reach the end of its life cycle, and that's okay. It happens. Your group may need to end so that you and other group members can take a break and or to join up with another group, to be around some other people, to experience a new dynamic, a new culture. I just don't want you to assume that you're at the end of your life cycle when in fact, maybe you're just stuck or you're disillusioned and you need a break. So if you get to this point where you think you're at the end of your life cycle, be sure to talk with me about it. Talk with your co-leader about it. And let's make sure that that's where you are. If so, no big deal. It's okay. Because in any season, you can reach the renewal phase. If you're prayerful, if you're wise, if you talk, you don't practice denial about the phase you're in, if you pray constantly, even if you're not sure like how to pray or what to pray, you can reach renewal as a leader, as a group. In every phase and in every case, I'm thankful for what you're doing.